My name is Sonia Calloway. I am the mother of George Cox Jr.
Please, what would you like to say?
I would just like to say thank you to the detectives and to the court system for diligently working to find our son. I don't know the story, but I do want to say that that was a tragedy that could have been avoided, and that no amount of time could replace the loss of my baby. But I do appreciate you all, and I just want to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else's child and somebody else's family. And I want to say thank you.
I appreciate you being here today and to finding the courage to come forward and talk about this. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. What would you like to say?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Jesus. And I'd like to thank the detective and all the officers that worked so diligently to find my nephew and bring this to the courts. George Cox Jr. was my first nephew, the very first. I have no children. He was like a child to me, even though he had his parents. But the joy that I used to have with him since a little child till he was grown. Last time I saw him was on my birthday, the day, July 24, 2024. This is very upsetting to me. There is no amount of time that this person could get to bring back my nephew. That person will have family to come and visit her. I will never see my nephew again, ever. He has a daughter that she will never, probably won't even remember her father. She's only 8 years old. And Your Honor, for somebody to do what they did to my nephew, it wouldn't surprise me if they have done this before. How can somebody do something so terrible? You know, it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. And I'm angry, Your Honor. I'm very, very upset. This has tore our family up tremendously, so bad, so bad. And it's just so heartbreaking. And it's hard for me to stand up here and be respectful, which I am trying to do, because I was raised that way. But I want to say so many things, Your Honor, and I'm begging you to supersede whatever plea deal that you gave this person. So please dig down in your heart and do what's right for our family. You know, just please. There is a child that's involved that will never see her father again, ever. And I'm very angry, Your Honor, and like I said, I'm trying to be very respectful. And I thank you for this opportunity to speak before you and express my feelings.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your words. So, Mr. Strang, there is a plea recommendation from the state of Ohio with...
Your Honor, I would also like to thank everyone, and I would like to read my statement because I would like to be very clear about my nephew and how I loved him. And I will never understand why Dy'mond Vaden murdered my nephew and tossed his body out like garbage. We will never recover from our loss. He was not garbage. He was a son, a grandson, a brother, an uncle, a nephew, a cousin, a friend, and certainly not last, a father. So many functions, so many responsibilities and relationships to so many people who loved him. His daughter will never know her father. His father and mother will no longer be able to touch him and love him like parents should. His siblings will no longer be able to spend time with him. Many of the relatives and friends will not be able to talk to him. He is someone that the world will not get to know because Miss Dy'mond murdered him in cold blood. June had hopes and dreams for his adulthood like every other young person. We know people in our history that took more time to flourish life, like Tyler Perry, example, who had a rough childhood and a young adult life. But he succeeded, and he is only the first African American to own a major film production studio. One of my favorite memories of June was when he was a young child playing, and we had such great hopes for him. Because of her careless attitude and her murder, she literally threw him away. The tragedy here is that she snatched away his future at a young age of 32, before he had a time to reach his full potential. June too also was my first nephew by blood. As I remember June as a young child running around playing with his siblings and cousins at family cookouts, parties, and family reunions. I remember one holiday particularly, when he was a young child. He and his mother and his siblings spent Christmas Eve night at my house. We played games, watched Christmas movies, and had so much fun, Your Honor. Then early Christmas morning, we rose around 5 a.m., sat in our PJs around the Christmas tree, opening gifts and sipping hot chocolate and coffee. When June helped to prepare, and we also had pancakes which June helped to prepare, and this was the first time he had made pancakes from scratch. I remember the look in his young eyes, realizing that he could create something from scratch, and they would taste so delicious. He was so proud, and after that I called him the Pancake King because he never wanted to use pancake from a box again. Because of memories like that were so powerful for him, he wanted to spend that time and spread it to his daughter. During the Christmas holiday again, recently before his death, June walked in my house with 2 bags full of toys for his daughter Gianna to hide at my house to take to her on Christmas Day. He wanted to hide them in my home to make sure that she would not find them. He was so dedicated and went out his way to ensure that she would experience the Christmas magic. He wanted her to experience the joy and surprise that he experienced as a child. While there, he was laying on the floor watching TV and fell asleep. And my dog kept bothering him, licking him, and trying to get him to play with her. We were laughing because June was so irritated because he could not sleep. Even my dog recognized what a special person June was and wanted to spend time with him. June will never get to continue the experience of being a father, to watch Gianna grow up, go to college, walk Gianna down the aisles to give her away at her wedding, and or be a grandfather. His daughter will never get the time to know her father. As I said, I am a chaplain, a minister, and a Christian, and most importantly, a servant of God. Because of my belief, I know I must forgive her. God emphasizes mercy, removal of sins, and the commandment to forgive others as we have been forgiven. There are many scriptures in the King James Holy Bible that I read and study and believe. And I believe Jesus took on our sins. He died and rose for all those who confess their sins. And Jesus also tells us and tells me that in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32, about kindness and forgiving. So, Yana, I am trying to forgive her, but I do think she should be punished. I am working on forgiving her so I can be set free of my anger and resentment. But I pray to God that during her time in prison, that this young lady will find God and ask for forgiveness. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the court's time.
Thank you, Chaplain Amos.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm okay.
Okay.
My name is George Cox Sr. I was George's, well, I still his dad, he's just not with us no more. First, I want to just thank the prosecuting office, all the law enforcement, and in particular, Detective Callahan. I mean, he was just a godsend to our family in this tragic event. I shared locations with my son, so we always knew where each other was at all times. So I knew his last known location was over on Boswell, where it appears this terrible murder happened. And I know that my sister, my aunt, and Sonia, George's mom, pretty much summed up a lot of things. I've been in contact with the prosecutor's office, so I understand what the agreement is and what you're bound by in terms of the 14 to 20 years being her sentence. But just the graphicness of this crime, you know, when we first realized George was missing, I reached out to the defendant and spoke with her. She told me, she said, "Dad, I would never do anything to hurt George." She called me Dad, knowing that my son was floating in the river somewhere with his body just decomposing, knowing that he had been hog-tied, wrapped in a sheet, drove an hour and 15 minutes away, and thrown in the water like he was just garbage and trash. And just to concur with Aunt Candy said, he wasn't trash. He was a son. He was a father. He was a nephew. He was a brother. He was a friend. He was a lot of things. May not have been perfect, but who is? But he definitely didn't deserve to die like that. Again, I understand you can only do what you can do. I understand the law. Personally, I think that some of these laws need to be changed because some things that happen need to justifiably be punished. You know, if she stabbed him in a fight and dialed 911 and my son died, we'd be having a different conversation today. But we didn't even have the opportunity to properly bury him because his body was so decomposed. This is what I wound up going to the morgue to see. This is what I had to go see. That's what I had to see, Judge. And it's so hurtful and so, I can't even describe it. That's something I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life. We had to cremate him because I couldn't put him in the ground looking like that. I couldn't. His daughter asked me, "Dad, why did you burn, Granddad, why did you burn my dad up?" And I'm gonna have to explain that to her one day. I mean, it's been hard on this family. And I'm the head, I'm the leader, so everybody been looking at me for answers. People wanted me to do things that would have probably had me standing here, but I wasn't gonna do that. I trusted the system, and I'm gonna trust that you do the right thing here with what you can do. I understand that you bound, but we're gonna trust that you do that for this family. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it.
Let's talk about your son for a second.
Thank you.
How old are you, sir?
55.
And you're in good health?
Yeah,
Was your son in good health
he was.
when he passed?
Yes, he was.
And was he about your build?
No, he was a little smaller. He hadn't got the weight on him just yet.
Uh-huh. About how big would you say that he was?
Probably 185. He was 5'6", 185. I think he took his mother height.
How old was he?
32. Had just turned 32. He just had a birthday, October the 6th. And I literally spoke to him the last time on the 17th. And he was calling me, asking me questions about a family situation and asking me, was he right in what he did? And we had a conversation about that. And I said, okay, well, call me later. And I never knew that would be the last time I would talk to my son. It's just so hurtful. It really is. My firstborn. I watched him come into this world and I had to see him leave out like that. It's been a nightmare. It's nothing but the grace of God that's been holding me and this family together. Because it was just so unnecessary, you know. Leave. You know, if you don't want somebody, and for what I'm understanding, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to leave. So, again, it's
Do you have a different picture? One of him?
I got in my phone a slew of pictures of him in my phone. I do. I don't have one in here, but you know, and I'm sorry. I really didn't want you to, but I just want you to
I
understand.
appreciate you showing me what you showed, but I'm sure you concentrate on that picture rather than the one that you showed me.
My office at home is a shrine of pictures of all my children, and you know, and I don't want to say this, but in a sense, it gave me comfort because I didn't think I was going to find my son. I didn't think I was going to find him. You know, I really didn't. I thought that I would never see my son again. And I'm gonna try to be the best grandfather / father that I can be to his daughter, but it's just so disappointing that, you know, she'll never get to get dropped off at school by her dad again. She'll never get to go to her prom and him give her away for a wedding or anything. You know, it's just so disappointing. It really is. Those are just pictures that kind of chronologize his life a little bit.
This would be him on the far right?
No, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. That's when he was.
It's a few years ago.
Yeah, well, I'll say.
Is this you as well? All right.
I think that's his uncle.
Uncle.
And again, like my sister said, the last time I physically saw him was for her birthday in Michigan, which, by the way, that's where I'm from, Michigan. And I also want to tell you, I traveled here 26 times in those 7 months trying to get answers for us and for the family and find my son. Just a tragic thing that just was so unnecessary, you know. And again, even after the kill, you picked the phone up to call 911, but to go to the extreme that you went to drive an hour and 15 minutes, you had time to think about all this. And then from what I'm understanding, you enlisted somebody else into this to help you dispose of his body. I mean, how selfish of an act. You know, things happen. You call 911. So
Whereabouts in Michigan?
I live in Farmington Hills, Michigan.
So you came down and around the lake, right?
Every time I come here now, when I pass Sandusky, I have to think about my son.
And you pass over the
Every time.
the Huron River.
I do, every time.
All right. And that's what you did for 7 months when you would come here?
Yes,
All right.
yes. Not knowing that my son was riding away right near me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Strang?
Thank you, Your Honor.